when I was up in the Smoky Mountains, I had problems with the service, so the audio would work. The video would work, but the audio wouldn't work. This is aggravating. The video would work, okay. But the audio wouldn't work. This is aggravating. All right, friends. I'm so sorry, friends. I just told you all about the good stuff with no audio. So look, we're gonna be right back. I'm gonna go grab my coffee. Hold on, friends. My goodness, so sneaking aggravating. Hello, mic check. Oh, goodness. The video would work, but the audio wouldn't work. Hello, mic check. Hello, mic check. I guess it's working out. Hello, mic check. I guess it's working out. All right, my goodness, friends. Friends, I'm sorry. Look. Friends, I'm just a humble combat soldier with all the war trauma, just trying to figure it out, okay? Sometimes I don't get it right, and sometimes 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 it just don't work, friends. So look, friends, I'm so sorry about that. We wasted 20 minutes. I hope it's working now. Friends, we're back out at the Samford Cemetery. It's out here in Riverview, Florida. And I have very, very, very bad sinus problems going on because I was out here in a dust storm yesterday. This place is really dirty, everybody. When you're on the tractor, the John Deere, it really does a number. But friends, I'm gonna go over a little history, and then I got to get to work, friends. I got car line at 3:00, so I can only work out here till about 2:30. But friends, what I was trying to explain to you earlier, and I guess the mic wasn't working. Go figure. Oh my gosh, friends, how am I going to get through this? It's just the snot on the boogers. Friends, this cemetery right here is in Riverview, Florida. If y'all know where Tampa Bay is, it's South Tampa Bay. It's South Hillsborough County. The Alafia River is right over here. I-75 is right here. And Boyette Boulevard is right here, everybody. And what breaks my heart more than anything is right over here is about 1 million new communist-style Marxist homes. They're all little apartment homes. I guarantee you, none of these people are first generation of Hillsborough County. I'm sure a lot of y'all have just moved down here from New York, friends. Oh, okay, we love all the neighbors, and the Bible teaches us we must love everybody. But I'm looking at a window, and somebody's looking at me, but they don't come out here and get the damn job done. They know these people, or maybe they don't know. When you're on your phone all the time and you just go to work and come home and get drunk and watch football, well, friends, I guess you won't even know what the hell's literally in your backyard. But this whole area up, 20 years ago, they really started hitting this area, the rural area in Riverview, and they just destroyed it, everybody. Now, I know we need to find homes for people. I get it. It's just sad because now that all these homes are here, you got more people here, but you got less folks out here getting the job done, getting the cemetery cleaned up. In this place, when we found it yesterday, I was weeping, everybody. It was very sad. And what I discovered last night when I got home, there's a lot. This ain't just friends, I don't know. There's a lot of history out here. And I'm ashamed of our, I don't know, friends. I want to be nice. Friends, the founders of Hillsborough County, a couple of the founders that I'm talking 200 years ago, that came down here, fought off the Indians. Because before we had Walmart and Target and all the movie theaters and all these millions of homes over here, friends, these homes are literally separated by like 4 feet. That's how close they are. Because these developers are all about the money. They don't care about these little cemeteries. And I know in my heart, if there was a way that they could have somehow tricked y'all and taken over the cemetery, they would have just removed all the headstones and just built homes over all these people. But again, friends, before I was a spiritual man, I watched that evil movie, The Poltergeist, and it terrified me. But something very similar happened. The developers were building homes over Indian burial grounds, and then you had skeletons popping out of the pool. It was terrifying. Friends, some of the founders of Hillsborough County, Florida. Friends, again, Tampa Bay area. You got Brandon just north of us. This is Riverview. It's just exploded. Mike Evans, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're not that far away. Friends. This is Tampa Bay. This is southeastern Hillsborough County. Friends, I'm sorry. Let me just make sure this mic's still working. My goodness, I couldn't believe it. I guess it was working. Okay. So, friends, this cemetery's been here. From what I learned last night, I got home because I was trying to find out who the hell's responsible for this. Is it Hillsborough County? I don't know. I think it could be. I couldn't find anybody that took ownership of it. It was run by volunteers, just like the Seffner Cemetery. But unlike Seffner, this is on a dead-end road. So all these people, I guarantee a lot of these folks in here have no idea this place is even here. Because how many times would they pass their home on their way home from work and keep driving to go explore a dead-end road, friends? This place looked like something out of a horror movie yesterday. Dead-end road, graves. I mean, come on, friends. But early 1800s was the first person buried out here. And friends, believe it or not, I think he's right there. Somewhere in here. We're going to clean him out here in a little while. We're going to excavate him. From what I read, and let's see, friends. Let's see if I can find him here. Oh, we're going to excavate him. Okay, the mic's still working. From what I read, and let's see, friends. Let's see if I can find him. Friends, the man, let me just go off my memory. He was a reverend. You know, he was a man of God, a reverend. And he was doing the settlements down here near the Alafai River. Alafai River's right here, 75, Boyette. And he fought off the Indians, friends. We had a lot of, I mean, come on, friends. We took over their land. It's horrible, friends. To me, friends, not all our history is nice and pretty. You know, I didn't like the slaves. And, you know, if we hadn't taken over the Indians, I mean, we wouldn't have America, friends. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Let me look this up real quick. But friends, the man was a reverend. He was a soldier, and he I don't know if he died fending off the Indians. Oh, hold on here, friends. Oh, good grief. Friends, I told you I don't like the Cronkster, did I not? I told you Chad Cronister, the Hillsborough County incompetent DEI hire sheriff. He's in a lot of hot water, everybody. Not only with me and the Grizzly Army, friends. Friends, this guy was pushing all the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion. He was hiring transgender, mentally ill people to be deputies at the detention. And friends, I saw the demon. And that demon had the fright when she saw me. She thinks she's a man or something. Friends, I don't know. I looked at her and I said, oh yeah, it's you. I see you. Or I was more like this. Oh yeah, I see it's you. You know who I am. She just kind of scurried away, friends. It was so funny. Friends, Chad Cronister, the corrupt sheriff that we got here, he puts diversity, equity, and inclusion over competence. That's why you got drunk majors rolling around. That's why you got Deputy Fluke and Stephanie Brittany murdering Staff Sergeant Morin without giving him due process, not allowing the man to comply with their orders. And the man never raised his weapon. Friends, I was a soldier they murdered off Providence last April. Oh my gosh, friends. Friends, tomorrow's his 1 year anniversary. We got to go down there and do a memorial, friends. Oh my gosh, my schedule is really getting booked up, friends. The 23rd, friends. Not only is it Staff Sergeant Morin's 1 year anniversary, where this incompetent DEI sheriff, perverted guy, girly man, friends, they don't train their deputies, is what I'm trying to explain to you. Friends, they had a major. He didn't even get arrested, friends. They just locked him out of the building and fired him. But he was drunk on duty, friends. A major. A major is like You got your deputies, all these incompetent folks they've hired over the last couple of years who would have never made it as a deputy 5-10 years ago. And then you got majors drinking and driving. How'd you get to work, Crunkster? Chad, how'd your major make it to work? How come he didn't get arrested for a DUI? I want the body cam. Friends, what the hell does that say right there? I've been telling y'all this guy's a crook. And I had to spend a couple of days in jail for sending a text because one of his DEI soldiers, a fake perverted detective, friends, that guy couldn't detect himself out of a wet paper bag. But he had so much pleasure slapping them cuffs on me when I was about to go in there and tell that Judge Prody what the truth was going on. And friends, he was laughing at me the whole way down to the Orton Road jail. And friends, here's the worst part about this guy's perverted detective. The guy's not real, friends. Friends, he took my wallet and he put it with my laptop so I wouldn't have it to bond out. So I'd have to stay in jail for a month, friends. I told you these people are rotten. Friends, right here, the Crunkster. You go look this up yourself. Friends, he installed all these speed cameras around the county in school zones. And friends, believe it or not, Mrs. Grizzlegrits got caught up in that. She had to pay $100. Now, that could have been two gallons of D2, honey. But right here, friends, it says the Speed Cameras Company gave the Crunkster, hold on, a $10,000 donation for his re-election campaign, his political action committee. And it prompts some calls for an independent review. Oh, the Crunkster. What a perverted demon, friends. Look at this guy. This is what a perverted girly man looks like right here, everybody. That guy is not a sheriff. Oh, I'm sorry. Can y'all see? Friends, y'all go look it up yourself. Don't you dare take my word for it. But friends, every time I turn around, every time I scroll and I do my news feeds, there's another article about this clown sheriff. And here's the worst part, friends. All the good deputies, all the Richie and Tommy Shannons, all the Mr. James, the whistleblower, he was a real detective. He's a friend of mine, everybody. Friends, I got rid of all those folks. Just like Bay Pines VA got rid of me because I asked questions and I had moral and integrity. And I said, oh, no. Oh, you cannot. You're showing pornography to my summer students. Friends, it's all true. I got in a lot of trouble for reporting that man. That perverted demon. Friends, I'm sorry. I go on tangents, I'm just trying to show you a little information. And then there's the Crunkster in the news again, but not for nothing good. I told you, friends, we got a new sheriff, and well, friends, we need some new county commissioners too before we can get a sheriff. But we're gonna have to get this guy on out of there. I can't believe that, friends. Every time I turn around, the Crunkster's in the news for drunk majors, deputies beating their wives with domestic. Friends, they had a deputy pull a gun on a spouse, and another deputy put a tracker on another. I mean, friends, this is like, how are y'all going to get any real police work done when y'all can't even police yourself up, All right, friends, let's check it out here. Samford. And then we do got to get to work, friends. I could be on here all morning jibber jabbering. Samford Cemetery in Riverview, Florida, a pioneer graveyard dating back to the 1830s. Friends, I told you this place is almost 200 years old. 200 years, friends. And I see a tree over there that looks to be about 200 years old, friends. I know. Here it is. Now, this is the sad part. This is right off the AI. It says, estimated 600 graves, yet often neglected. What the hell's wrong with y'all? I'm going to go knock on all your doors when I'm done cleaning up the cemetery. I'm going to demand y'all come out here and help me finish up the police call. Because I'm going to have a community. Friends, it ain't going to be a hole. It's going to be a community pit. I'm going to put all y'all down the hole. I'm kidding, friends. I would never do that. Friends, this place was originally known as the Peru Cemetery. It was named after Alexander Samford, a Methodist minister killed in an Indian raid in 1891. Friends, the man's right back over here. This is a historic site known for having many graves overgrown or lost. Friends, I told you, there's a lot of overgrown. There's a lot of lost ones, but we're going to do the best job we can. We're going to give it a good old grizzly effort, friends. So I need your help out here. Hey, Crunkster, why don't you come out here and help me with the community work party? I mean, you are the county sheriff, right? Enough of that clown. Friends, there's a Russian princess out here somewhere. She's from Russia. She was a princess. So I guess some nobility. Her name was Natalia Poliski. We need to look for her. That'd be an old one. Friends, this place is sad. It's sad learning the history. And then the county don't even give a damn. And then, friends, I just made friendly with a lady of the Brandon Historical Society, but we're not in Brandon, we're in Riverview. But we're going to get her out here. Friends, the Observer News, they wrote an article in 2018 basically begging for volunteers to come out here. Friends, this place has been neglected for decades. The last community work party that I could find on the internet, on Facebook, where they had pictures and they had people wearing, friends, it's crazy. Even though it was 15 years ago, I still have some of the same clothing that I wore in 2010. It looks weird. These people look like they're from the 80s. More than 100 headstones dot the old graveyard, but many more souls rest here. Friends, they said 600. 600. It says right here, the cemetery is in dire need of repair and volunteers, says Richard Baldwin. He's a concerned resident, and he's a volunteer. Friends, my wife and I looked this man up last night, and he moved out of here. He said, the hell with Hillsborough County and that perverted Cronkster. He moved to Georgia, friends. But I still reached out to him because I need to let him know, hey, sir, I answered the call. It's just like, it's like 9 years later. I'm sorry, friends. I was, in 2018, I was still drinking and riding around in the motorcycle clubs, friends. I was not into doing this type of stuff. It says right here, we're looking for a lawn care service or a corporate sponsor to help us maintain this piece of history. Well, I don't technically have a lawn care service, everybody. I'm not quite corporate. I wouldn't fit in. I'm kind of like the grizzly man that just kind of shows up and gets the damn job done. And then I just kind of disappear and go off to the next job. And I don't want, whereas I only do the live streams that bring awareness to this. And it's fun being goofy on here. What else do we got here? Friends, in 2011, University of South Florida came out here with ground penetrating radar. And they surveyed, they did a survey out here and they found at least 600 bodies in the ground. That's profound. They found graves they never knew existed here. According to Mr. Bunting, Vienna Henry was the first person buried in the graveyard. When they used to call it the Peru graveyard, friends. Peru Cemetery in the early 1800s. The Tampa Historical Society information shows that Peru was founded in 1830. Friends, we're in 2026, so that is literally, we're going to round up, friends. That's 200 years ago. And it was founded on the south side, that's where we are, of the Alafai River, which I just told you we are, decades before Riverview, which was settled in 1885, on the north side of the river. Peru, a name that today only appears on the earliest maps in the area, was absorbed into Riverview in the 1940s. And then the cemetery was renamed to honor Alexander Samford, which, friends, I believe the man's right over here, friends. I mean, how dare y'all desecrate the good minister's name? The man died to preserve this little piece of land and take it from the Indians. So there's a 5-foot sandstone obelisk. It's one of the best preserved in the cemetery. I see you, sir. We're about to get to you. Again, friends, a Russian princess, Natalia Poliski, who's also buried out here. She's probably over here. This seems to be where the older, the older ones. Okay. Anything else in here? So they're looking for a professional lawn care service, which I'm not. There's nothing professional about me. I'm an improv guy. I'm a man that's absorbed a lot of trauma in my life. And I'm very spiritual, friends. And the Lord Jesus will give you all the discernment you could ever want and the guidance if you just ask him for it. And I do every day, friends. And that's why I'm out here. Friends, I got a dove. I got a gray dove sitting right there, friends. This is how peaceful this place is. Let me see. And he's just, without scaring him away or her. Let me just see here. Lots of peace out here. So, friends, I just gave you the history lesson of this place. It breaks my heart, everybody. So we're going to have to get to work here. Oh, my gosh, friends. I think I found the princess. Oh, no. Oh, it's a child, friends. I got a Ninja Turtle on the ground right here. That's Raphael, friends. That's the Ninja Turtle. You see the Ninja Turtle? Oh, no. Another child. 10 years old. Oh, Lord Jesus. Bubby Dub. All right, friends, we got to get to work. I don't want to get emotional on the camera, friends. I mean, look, friends, I'm begging you at this point. If you're feeling sorry for yourself, if you need some suicide awareness, some veteran suicide awareness, friends, I saw another, I can't believe these people. Friends, a bunch of motorcycle clowns, a bunch of guys on motorcycles. I don't want to embarrass them, friends. But another news organization did a big old spread that a bunch of bikers are going to hop on their Harleys and bounce around from bar to bar and do some shots and drink and go riding. For veteran suicide awareness, friends. Of course, if you say that, then you can. It's okay to go get drunk on your Harley and cruise around. Friends, I put comments on that thing, and I said, why don't y'all come out to the work party on Saturday? That'd be a better use of your resources. And then when you're done doing the veteran stuff, then you can go get drunk on the Harleys, friends. I told you. A lot of y'all got your priorities all backwards. How in the hell is you going on a Harley, getting drunk in a bar, cruising around? How's that going to help me not kill in my life, friends? How's that going to help veteran prevention suicide? It's not, friends. Again, it's all attention seeking for these people's selves. And if you just write a check to the VA, friends, they're just going to give it to the transgender clinic. Friends, if you really want to help put a dent in that veteran suicide, if you really want to help all suicide, all elements of depression, anger, frustration, all the elements that weigh us all down as a society, and really, truly, friend, that's why this place turned out the way it did, because all the things that have been going on. Friends, if you really want to put a dent in that, all you got to do is come out here and give me a hand, friends. You will not feel depressed. You will feel good about yourself. You will have meaning and purpose, friends. There's a need, and we need to fill that need, and that's what I'm doing. I just can't stand seeing this garbage. Friends, I used to be me on the Harley, and I'm revving my bike up looking all cool, like, yeah, I'm really helping all the veterans. Look at me. Vroom, vroom. Oh, well, thanks for the beer. Oh, yeah, let me go help some. Friends, I don't help nothing. Bunch of nonsense, if you ask me. I just won't stand for it, friends, and neither should you. Friends, if you're going to do something like that, and I catch you, friend. You can expect a post from me, and I'm going to put my flyer of the next work party that's going on. And I did, friends. I told these clowns, I said, if y'all are real serious about helping the veterans, then you're going to get your butts out there at the Samford Cemetery with the branded roots, and you're going to get down on your knees and your hands, and you're going to help me scrub all these veterans' graves. Oh yeah. Getting drunk in a bar don't do nothing for nobody, friends. Cruising around on a Harley, friends, I told you, it's all self-seeking behavior. Friends, I told you I was I am master level trained in mental health, friends. I was going to be a counselor at the VA. It's all true, everybody. Uh-oh. But friends, the Lord Jesus had another mission for me. It was getting out here and getting the damn job done. So friends, I got to go. But before we go, friends, I'm going to show you where that reverend is. He's right over here. Now, friends, when you come out here, you must look for bees. I don't want no bees. Let me check these comments. How many times have I been divorced? Only once, my friend, only once. But we almost got a divorce last year. But that Lord Jesus, he's powerful. The Holy Spirit can bring people back together. I appreciate the nice comment. But the first marriage, well, we shouldn't have ever really gotten married. You know, we were young. I was deploying to Afghanistan. I don't know if you're a soldier. Probably not with that kind of comment. But being a soldier is very challenging. And not all the ladies or the men are up to the task of being married to a person that's always deployed, friend. But it's sad. That's true. My first wife, you know, we hung out in the bars and we did all the bar stuff, and it didn't quite work out good for us. And when I was in Afghanistan, my friend, what were you doing in 2005? Probably pooping in your diapers, because I know you're living at mommy's basement and making comments like that. There he is, friends, Alexander Samford. Wow. Steven Seagull. Never heard of the guy. He sounds girly, though. Look, friend. I need you to get your butt on out here. I'll tell you what, if you want to, I'm going to have a donation jar on Saturday. Friends, I'm going to have a donation jar. It's kind of like the swear jar, but it's going to be, you can call Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits, anything you want jar. You put $1 in there and I'll let you could just dress me down. I'll give you 5 minutes. I got to get back to work. $1 a minute. So if you put $10 in the donation jar so I can get some more D2 and some fuel for my truck, I'll let you just call me any name in the book, make fun of me for being divorced, make fun of me because I'm a Christian and I'm sober and I don't have a job. I do got a job. But you'll get the freebies today, my friend. Oh my goodness. Yeah, professional yapper, absolutely. But we got to get to work, friends. I'm just trying to give y'all some education. But look at this. This is the man right here. We just learned about him. I got to be honest, everybody. You know, when I do these live streams a little later on in the afternoon, like say after work hours, like around 5, I get a lot of nice comments. So that tells me all y'all's nasty comments, y'all probably don't work and have jobs, and you probably live off the government. I'm surprised you're even up, friends. It's only 9:30 in the morning. Typically, folks like y'all don't get out of bed till like noon. But it's okay, friend. I love you. I love all y'all. Keep them coming. Any comments you put in there makes my algorithms just go to the moon. All right, everybody. So we're going to do the weed whacker first today. But I must get my field gear on. Hold on now. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. There's my shirt. Hold on, friend. I brought my lunch today, my sandwiches. And friends, you must have a clean shirt to drive home. You don't want to drive home with all the graveyard muck all over. Ugh. There we go. Oh, cool. Got some fighter jets flying over. All right, everybody. We got to get to work here. So here's what we're going to do, everybody. I'm going to unplug the mic because the last thing I want is for y'all to just hear the weed whacker. So we're going to, hopefully I don't hold the audio. Okay. So last night when we got home, everybody, we do what's called the after actions, the PMCS, preventive maintenances, checks and services. So we check the oil in the Grizzly tractor. I clean the deck real good because I don't want a stick or something to get up there with a belt and then the belt breaks. Because I'm not getting a lot of donations out of y'all, not yet, friends. But the Lord Jesus says that's going to change. Friends, you must invest in one of these. This is my favorite tool I own. The DeWalt. You got to get the upgraded battery. And we only go with the Echo, friends. We only go with the Echo. We already got the line all squared away, so we can just get to work. I know I yap too much. I got a lot of work to do. We got some extra chain oil. I got some starter fluid, some carb cleaner, because that chainsaw, I can't figure it out. It just don't want to work. And look, everybody, you should invest in a 3-point sling. Not only for your own defense or when the power goes out and it don't come back on, and then you got to be in charge of your neighborhood security. It works good for this too. All right, friends, let's go. Let's get to work here. Enough jibber jabber. I agree with you. Truly, I do. You want to make sure it's turned on the on position. There we go. Couple more pumps. We may be able to still use these. Everybody see what we're doing? child in here. We're gonna clean it up. Clean it up. Oh, golly, friends. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, we're making some progress, huh? Well, back in the day, yeah, it looks like they buried it on their own property. Back in 200 years ago, when they buried this man here, hold on, let's go look. We're going to clean it up with some D2 here a little bit. 1891. So we don't know who owns this property. All we know is this is a historic cemetery. It had been maintained by volunteers for 100 years. But then I guess they all either died or just got too old. But you got all manners of families. This ain't... Oh, sorry, friends. Let me catch my breath. My goodness. This is a public cemetery. It's open to the public. But, I mean, we don't know who owns it. We tried doing research last night. There's an association, but it hadn't been... The last post that we found on Facebook was... Oh, my gosh, friends. The last post that we found was from 2020. Friends, I'm sorry. I'm a stinking soldier. This is how we do it. But it ain't these people's backyards. This ain't a family cemetery. Now over in Alderman, the Petro Alderman, that is a family cemetery. They're very protective, friends. I went out there last year picking up trash, and I got run out of there with a man with a gun on me. It's true. I forgive you, Ed Lou, even though you're girly, man. I picked up 10 bags of trash in that place, and the guy told me that was his job, and I'm like, well, you ain't getting the job done. And I got soldiers. Friends, if there's soldiers buried out here, friends, if you find a government headstone, you can come out here. Because the family didn't purchase that. We as taxpayers did. And if they're not taking care of the headstones that the government bought for us on our behalf as taxpayers, well, friends, you can come out here and get it cleaned up. What, are they going to run me out of here for cleaning up their derelict cemetery? It's about honor. And a lot of folks forgot about that because everyone's about money and greed nowadays. Friends, I don't do this for the views. I don't do it for the likes. I don't do it for the money because I don't ever get none. I'm just bringing y'all along because I'm trying to show you how stinking easy this is. Friends, my cat, Remy the cat, is like on her way to being like the most viewed cat on YouTube. She's got like 20 or 30,000 views when we were playing with her the other day after work. Golly, friends. But the research that I found last night, this cemetery doesn't belong to nobody. It's kind of like I'm certain all these developers have been trying to purchase it so they can just bulldoze over it. But a lot of these cemeteries, this plot of land, 200 years old. I mean, I'm sure the deeds, the county records probably weren't done right. So it's just one of these. It's just one of these rare encounters where nobody's really responsible for it. I'm looking at the headstones. I see 92, 94. The most recent headstone I found was in the back, 2007. So that tells me that the family probably are older, or maybe they don't live here anymore, or maybe it's so sad that they don't even want to come out here because how bad it looks. But either way, friends, there's veterans out here. So I dare someone to tell me to scram. I told you, I'll just put you down the hole and I'll get back to work. Oh, golly, I don't know. I'm suffering today with the allergies. This is what I'm talking about, everybody, right here. This headstone don't belong to the family. The family did not purchase this. This is a United States government headstone, okay? Now, I know we want to be respectful to the family. But that's our veteran, everybody. That is a person. First, I'm not trying to say our veterans are property, but they served our country in Korea. And I guarantee you when Mr. Mobley, when Private First Class Mobley, when he was interned out here and put in the ground, I guarantee you they had a 21 gun salute out here. I guarantee you somebody came out here and rendered honors, and this place looked nice. It didn't have all the piles of crap everywhere. So, friends, I dare any one of y'all, not my supporters, I dare any one of y'all to come out here and tell me I don't belong. Get on out of here. I beg for that. You got to understand something. This is bigger than me. It's bigger than you. This is our lineage here, friends. If these men and women hadn't served the country in the manner they did and fought all these horrible wars that we had to go to. Now, friends, I don't know if this man was a. It says Korea right there, don't it? Y'all need to learn your history about Korea. That was another bad one. It was only a couple years long, but a lot of soldiers died there. But this man died in 1990, everybody. So if you find a cemetery that is in this bad of shape, and it's a family plot, well, friends, you know, and there's no veterans out there, friends, yeah, I would get permission. My friends, if you see a headstone like this, and you see the derelict state, well, friends, you better get your butt to work. And I dare one of y'all to come up to one of my soldiers, one of my supporters, and tell them they don't belong out there. Because obviously, you're going to have an attitude adjustment, friend. Now, I'm not talking about my supporters, but look, friends, I got literally like 20 veterans out here. But that's government purchase, friends. That's taxpayer. Our taxpayer dollars pay for those. The family don't pay for them. Now, Uncle David, when he was killed in Iraq, I'm sorry, I'm suffering today. Let me just show you another one. Then we got to get back to work. Friends, I wanted a weed whack in there so I could see. I'm going to get that tractor in there. I'm going to have to sharpen up the blades. Oh, goodness. Friends, when you're in the military and you serve honorably, the government will purchase one of these for you on our behalf, the taxpayers. Another Korean War soldier, U.S. Army. Now, basically what I learned was if the family already went and bought a headstone, they won't provide the headstone. They may give you something like this. Right here's a good example. Because again, friends, I mean, think about back in the day, it probably took a while for the government to get things done. So here's Mr. Kenneth Edward Bartonfield. And there's his headstone the family purchased for him. But the government came out and got him one. Because on the headstone, it don't say that he's a soldier. So when you serve honorably, friends, 3 years, 2 years, friends, I mean, you better have at least passed basic training, friends. I know some people that didn't even pass basic training, and they're like 100% service connected. Friends, I can't stand that garbage. Let me be in charge of that stuff. We'll get rid of a lot of the fraud, waste, and abuse. But friends, there's Mr. Kenneth Bartonfield, and here's his brother, James. This guy was a staff sergeant. You see, everybody? Oh my gosh. So friends, if you find a cemetery that looks like this, and it's looking better, friends. This whole area yesterday, this area right here, looked like that area. And friends, I don't know. I'm going to try to get to that this afternoon, but I do got time hacks today. And I got to save a little work for y'all when y'all come out here at the work party. My friends, you just get to sneak work. You get to work, and then you just deal with whatever you got to deal with. And if you got to educate somebody and say, look, you know, you show me where you own this property. You don't own it. Well, my family's buried over there, and we don't like no one cleaning. Well, that's fine. Just tell me where they are, and I won't clean it. But I got soldiers out here that have been forgotten about. And I've been watching this crazy man named Sergeant Major Grizzlegrits on his YouTube channel. Yeah, the man's been divorced once and almost twice. But he motivated my butt to get on out here. But he's been providing some education. And he's been providing some blocks of instruction that when I see a headstone like this one over here, and it looks in the manner and state that it does, as a United States citizen, as a good American, we are obligated to come out here and get this cleaned up, everybody. Friends, does this not just represent the state of our country right now? We got all these foreigners moving in. Nobody cares. Everyone's greedy and selfish. And then we got cemeteries looking like this. Mr. Gravely. Not for long, friends. Again, this whole area was overgrown yesterday. Friends, I'm just showing you how easy this is. If you have the time, you have to have the time. I got a World War II soldier right here. Friends, this is our greatest generation, if y'all didn't know that. These folks back then, everybody pitched in. Friends, when I say everybody, the women, the children, everybody. Because these folks did not know. I mean, friends, we look back at history through the lenses of the victors. The Germans and the Japs. I'm glad the Italians came over. Friends, you got to learn your history. The Italians were a part of the Axis until we stormed the beaches. And then they said, oh, no, we don't want to mess around with these folks. But friends, in World War II, we won that war, not because we were the most trained. I'm sorry, friends. It was a dirty job. Friends, we outproduced the enemy. We had the manufacturing. We put the women in we put the women in the girly men. The girly men, they didn't want to go fight the war. We put the women and the girly men in the factories. And they built our bombers and our weapons and our helmets and everything. It was mass produced, friends, and I've been trying to teach y'all. The German army, they had way better equipment than we could ever imagine. But we had more of it. For every one Leopard, German tank, Panzer, what was the other one? Friends, they had like 3 tanks that were like unstoppable. For every one of their tanks, it probably took them a couple months to build it. And it was a tank, friends. You could barely stop it. It was just built in German engineering. And friends, our tanks were not that good, but we just had more of them. So a German tank is going in a field, and it starts shooting the Shermans. And then you got 2 Shermans, and then 2 more, then 2 more. And then that German tank was overwhelmed, and it was basically superior fire. We just had more tanks. So it probably took like 10 of our tanks to knock out one of theirs, and we had lots of them. And we had an ocean between us, so we didn't have our factories bombed like the Germans did. Oh my gosh, friends. Whew, I told you, I'm glad I'm getting out here in April, because it's going to be hot this summer. Friends, we're not going to worry about this back part today, because this one's going to take some time. I got a lot of stuff out here. Oh my goodness, is this another soldier right here? No, but it's like, oh my gosh, man, I'm about to keel over out here. All right, look, we're gonna do a couple more, and then I'm gonna log it off. I need to get to work. Here's another soldier here, U.S. Navy, World War II. Friends, that's our headstone. This man was our soldier, you know. This man's our Navy soldier. I don't know why the family don't come out here. I was trying to have a talk with my mother-in-law yesterday. Because just because she's getting back into this stuff, I'm like, well, I don't want to be judgy, but where were you for the last 10 years, 15 years? And then I asked my wife, I was like, when's the last time you went out to your brother's grave? And she said, well, I was out there last week. I said, okay. When was the last time you were out there before that? And it's been years, friends, years. We get busy, and then life gets in the way, and then we just expect everybody else to take care of it. And And then you got a place that looks like this, friends. But it's okay. We're gonna get it all put back together. Holy smokes. Look, friends, I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to end the live stream? I'm going to be on the tractor here. I don't know how exciting that is watching somebody mow a cemetery, but it might be. This Saturday, everybody, if you're in the Brandon area, Tampa Bay area, we got a work party at Seffner Cemetery. Friends, I got like... I haven't counted. I'm sure the county's got a record. There is probably 100 to 120 veterans buried at the Seffner Cemetery. And we got to get the headstones all nice and clean. Some of them are in pretty rough shape. But not after Saturday. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm back in Afghanistan around them open burn pits, friends. This is all true. I was breathing that garbage and I said, oh, no big deal. Just throw it in the fire. It was a big deal, friends. I have like horrible asthma now. Ugh. Look, everybody, if you find a cemetery like this, send me an email. If I can help you out. I can't have like a lot of funds right now to send your way. But I can give you some pointers from what I'm learning out here. You know, there is a method to do this right without injuring yourself or damaging your equipment, or most importantly, disturbing any of the graves. There's a lot of gopher turtles, a lot of gophers. There's turtles. They like to dig holes under the graves. There's trees that are falling. So if you want to start doing this stuff, send me an email, everybody. Just go to my website, grizzlyarmy.com. And the more folks we get involved in this, we're going to start having all our little cemeteries all cleaned up. And that'll be real cool. Because, friends, again, what can we control? We can't control what happens in Washington, D.C. I have no idea why these fighter jets are flying around. MacDill Air Force Base is right there. But, friends, I heard the Trumpsters going all in for Cuba. We're going to take Cuba over here. Okay. Can't control those things, everybody. All we can do is control these little projects in our backyards, friends. I mean, literally, I'm in somebody's backyard. Hey! I'm going to go knock on some doors when I'm done over here. I'm going to demand these folks come out tomorrow and help me. If they're not working, everybody, you got to go to work. Speaking of work, we topped off the fuel, but I don't really have a lot of mowing to do, but I got to get in there. I really got to get in there. That weed whacker. Oh. A bird pooped on my lever here. It's disgusting. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, good Lord Jesus. Hey, I think I see the Reverend. Ugh. We're making progress. Okay, everybody, we're making some progress. How's that looking there? All right, friends, look, here's another tool you must have when you're out here. Friends, the mower can only get so much, and the weed whacker is struggling. You got to get to one of these. But first, so we got to take our time with a lot of these. There's a lot of stuff out here. We don't want to disturb nothing. We just want to preserve it. Start your little pile right over here. we looking? Looking pretty good. I'm gonna hit the weed whacker here in a minute. But friends, you couldn't even look in here. We didn't even know where the good Reverend was. Now right here is another really old one. It's missing part of the top. Oh, excuse me, everybody. Where's my manners? Don't that look nice? How long does it take for these limbs to grow like this? I mean, somebody obviously cut this tree like 10 years ago. At least 5 years. Now this place don't look so scary, does it? How nice. Don't that look looks just so beautiful now. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's go get our rake. Look, friends, we're getting the tree cleaned up. You know, somebody came out here some years ago and trimmed that tree. But we're getting there, everybody. Slowly. Again, friends, we're out at the Samford Historic Cemetery out here in South Hillsborough County, Florida. If y'all are just joining, I need you to subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be out here every day until this job's done. Friends, we got a work party this Saturday at the Seffner Community Cemetery, Seffner Cemetery. We've been advertising it for a few weeks, so hopefully we'll get some folks out there. But we'll see, everybody. You know, we know everyone's busy. But we got to get out here and do these things. If we don't come out here, friends, friends, ain't nobody going to come out here. If I hadn't found this place yesterday on Google Maps, I wouldn't have come out here, friends, but I found it. God says you must get your butt out there, and I don't ever disobey the Lord. Not anymore. Not anymore. But we're going to team up with the Brandon Roots. It's another organization. Good group of folks, friends. Friends, throw those folks a donation. They're trying to get serious with it too. And friends, I don't do this for any money or nothing. It just gives me something to do while I'm waiting on my lawsuit to get done. And give me something to do while I'm waiting for Jesus to return. But if you'd like to donate $1, I could always use it, friends. You know, we can get some more D2. Gas is like $4 a gallon now down here. Just driving from the house out here yesterday and then back to the house and back cost me about $15 in fuel, friends. I mean, this stuff ain't cheap. And I drive a big old manly truck. I don't drive a girly vehicle. But there's just so much work to do. But we're going to team up with the Brandon Roots probably. We got to see what their schedule's like. I don't want to burn these folks out because they got real jobs, you know. They work all week. So they come out here at their leisure to get this stuff done because they love doing it too. But I'm just going to keep working because the more work I get done, it's less work that they got to do when they come out here because I'm going to need help doing more trimming. They may want to trim all these trees up real nice. Then, friends, we got to haul it out of here. That's a process. But they got it's like a science with these folks. They're really safe and good with the chainsaws, way better than me. But we're gonna start bringing all the debris to the front, chopping it up. Hell, I'm gonna have some free firewood if y'all want some firewood. But we need to get it. We need to get it out of here. I maybe when Rob, if you see this, Rob's the president of the Brandon Roots, and he's a lot more polished than I could ever be. So he's trying to get the community, the partners, the government, the county. He's trying to get all those folks lined up, friends. So Rob, you might want to maybe reach out to the county. Maybe they can bring one of their big trucks in their claw and they can pick up a lot of this debris for us. Because this is a historic cemetery in Hillsborough County. I would certainly hope that the county would have a little vested interest in preserving this. If not, I don't know, friends. I told you, I'm just itching to start protesting again. I hadn't done it in a few months. Blessed are the... Can't read. Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord. Oh my God. Here's another reverend. 1828. Friends, did I not tell you this place is old? Hold on, this sneaking thing. All right, work party. We're going to take a little break. Reverend Ubane something. We can't see the rest. This is a headstone. A tree probably fell on this. It might have been this tree. I don't know. Somebody tried to repair it, but it's missing the top. It's right here, friends. This man died July 31st, 1886. He was born 1828, died 1886. Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord. Interesting. Another old one. Friends, this place is just about 200 years old. So look, friends, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. I need the subscribers. Because if I could get monetized at some point, friends, hear me loud and clear. I need a lot of views. To get monetized on YouTube, you need 500 subscribers. And I'm right at 200 now, so thank y'all so much. Back in December, when we kind of switched over to this YouTube channel, friends, I had like 20. But I wasn't doing this type of stuff. I was complaining about things. Friends, you need 500 subscribers, and you need like, well, I don't know, that kitty cat, friends. If you get like 2 million, if it's like 2 million shorts views, you can get monetized with 500 subscribers. And friends, my little kitty cat, she was being goofy the other day, and we recorded her. It's like 30,000 views already. It's been like 24 hours. A cat, just being a cat, and a lot of people just want to look at that instead of what we're doing out here. But that's okay. It's okay. But friends, if I can get monetized, I won't have to beg y'all for donations. I'll just take them from I'll take them from YouTube. But look, friends, here's what we did. This whole area. Oh, who's that? The cat man? Oh, yeah, the cat man. I told you. We got Remy the cat. Remy the cat was not a rescue. My wife got her at the pet store, but the children picked her out, and she's just as playful as you could ever want a cat to be. And she's cool. I've never had a white cat. Buddy, we have another cat called Buddy the cat, and he was I don't know, friends. He was like a homeless kitty cat, brand new kitten, very sketchy, and we almost had to take him back because he just wasn't working out. He hid like under the bed for like the first 4 months. It was horrible. Wouldn't do none of that. But we just kept with him and loved him, and he's a good kitty. And when I'm not looking, friends, when I'm in my office and they don't think I'm watching them, but I can see them right through my glass door, they wrestle and they play. I mean, he's a cat just like every other kitty cat. He just don't trust humans, but he trusts me, friends. We earned that trust a while ago. But I'm gonna get a video for y'all of the kitty cats wrestling. It's so funny. And then I yell at them, and they both look up like they're in trouble, and then they just run in two different directions. It's hilarious. So we'll try to get that for y'all later. But look, Mr. Catman or Miss Cat Lady, whoever you are, the Catman, of course. Look, this whole area here, we're at a historical cemetery in Hillsborough County, Florida. It's outside of Tampa. So the suburbs, literally, friends, look over there. That's homes, friends. Like, literally, the developer, if they could have built the homes all the way to here, they would have done it because they don't have any concern or regard for the dead. Hold on, friends. Let me get this dirt out of your eyeballs. Friends, I don't like this stuff. I like preserving history. And we'll drive through this neighborhood later. Every house looks the same. It's cookie cutter. And the homes are literally like 3 feet from the next home. They just cram them in there. It's literally like your little apartment. But it's sad because that used to be fields. And people used to come out here, but now there's more people living around here, and ain't nobody come out here. So let's just take a walk through here. First, again, this area, you couldn't even see the what the hell is that thing called right there? The monument, the monument for the Reverend. We got some trash we're picking up. And look, friends, when we come through here, I'm not going to mess with this stuff today, but we got to be very, very delicate when we go through these type of graves, because the families brought all this out here many years ago. Some Indian stuff over there. Interesting. You just never know, friends. You know, we don't want to judge. We don't judge. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, with all my heart. He's done so many wonderful things in my life. He got me sober. He got me this beautiful ministry that I get to come out and do every day, friends. I mean, how many of y'all get to come out here and do this kind of stuff? Like you don't have to work a job because God He put you in the war. You got your service connect. Friends, I'm 100% service connected. My wife works at the Tampa VA as a nurse, and she makes a lot of money. So I don't have financial. I mean, I can't go splurge on a boat or buy any new firearms anymore. But friends, I got them all. I bought them all, friends. I don't need any more. But friends, I'm blessed is what I'm trying to explain to you. That's why I come out here and do these things, and I talk about Jesus on my live streams, because Jesus wants me to talk about him. That's kind of friends. That is like literally the whole point of existing on this earth. We got to find whatever our gifts are, our talents. And then we got to ask Jesus for discernment. That's knowledge, friends. Discernment is knowledge that God gives you. That's like your gut feeling. When you're like, I just don't feel good about that, you know, or I know I shouldn't be doing this. Or you pray and you say, okay, yeah, I need to go out and check out the cemetery. It needs some work. But then you load up all your tools. That's discernment, because God says, yeah, I'm sending you out there. And you're not just going to go out there and video. You're going to get your butt to work. And I did yesterday. I mowed this whole 2 acres or whatever it is. This has to be at least 2 acres. Not quite 3, but I don't know, friends. It's bigger than 1 acre. I know that. But look, friends, we got in here because this man was like the first person buried out here, right next to this tree. We're going to get them cleaned up here. Maybe not today, friends. I might save that for another day, but we're going to clean it good, throw some D2 on it. This thing goes down. We got to unearth it first. But friends, it's all about giving back, is what I'm trying to explain to you. It's about, you know, acts of kindness, generosity. I'm not out here looking for a buck. I'm not going to look up these families and send them a bill and say, hey, buddy, you owe me $100 for cleaning up your family's grave. No, friends. We don't do those things. I love art, friends. It's very sad, but there's a lot of art in the cemeteries. This is a bridge. I don't know if y'all can see that, but to me, it's symbol. That's oh my gosh, friends, that's the Skyway Bridge. Friends, that is the old Sunshine Skyway Bridge, and it collapsed in 19. Oh my gosh, friends, this man. Friends, that's his boat right there. Can y'all see that right here? He had a Proline boat, and there's his friends. There's his boat number. You get a number for your boat. So this man, friends, right here, Mr. Jerry Harrison. Here he is, friends. Can y'all see him? I'm sorry, my phone. Mr. Jerry owned a boat. He owned a Proline, and it looks like it had a Mercury or maybe a Johnson on the back. And there's his boat number. Florida, what is that? Oscar 5904 Papa Tango. And the man liked to go out to the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, and he liked to go fishing. I mean, the man loved it. It's on his headstone here. It's on his grave. I wonder if you caught any fish, my friend. I know you did, because my father used to take me out to the sun. He used to take me out there. But it was when the new Sunshine Skyway Bridge was built, because the old one collapsed. It was a horrible tragedy. So, look, friends, I'm going to log it off. I'm going to eat my lunch, and then I'll probably be on later. I'll work better with the camera off, because I don't feel like I got to entertain y'all. I just get to work. We got a lot of work to do, friends, a lot of work. You know, if I come out here a couple days, a week, until we get our work party, I'll just do a chunk here, then a chunk there. We got to get this area uncovered. That's like a whole morning. Back here, this will be a whole day in this area. And friends, here's the real task. We're going to save this for the Brandon Roots, because they're really good at doing the tree stuff. Y'all see this tree right here? I know you see it because I'm looking on my camera and I see that it's recorded. Friends, there's graves back here. I'm afraid to go in there. Could be snakes. I know there's ticks. Friends, there's veterans back here. Grave. I mean, this is horrible, friends. This is absolutely horrible. I won't stand for it. And I know y'all won't either. Look how old that tree is. So we gotta clean this tree up. This is gonna be a big one here. I'm gonna need some community. I'm gonna need a tree company to come out here. This is probably a little bit more than what we can do as a organization. In the Brandon Roots, I don't know. You know, I need a tree company out here to donate a Saturday to haul this tree out of here. I mean, at least cut it up to here. This is crazy, friends. Like these two giant arms. But there's family members out here. You know, these are our neighbors in our community. We'll get it squared away, friends. We'll get it squared away. All right, look, everybody. I'm gonna log it off. I'm gonna go take a little break. I'll probably be back on later. I gotta watch my time today. I got car line 3 o'clock. Well, friends, send me a report if you found a cemetery. I want to know. I'm gonna put it on the tracker. We're gonna monitor your progress, and we'll help you out any way we can. You know, we can't help you out financially, not yet, friends. I'm still struggling, but I'll get you some pointers. I'll shoot a promo for you for your area. You just give me the details, friends. All right, everybody, we're gonna log it off. But don't this place look nice? Oh, let me check them comments real quick. Hold on. Hold up, my goodness. I don't have my glasses. I'm getting old. Oh yeah, I'm sorry about the quality, everybody. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. And even though I'm like literally next to homes, I got homes here, but I got bad service out here. I'm so sorry about that. I'll shoot some video and record it on the phone, and then we'll upload it later. But hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the positive vibes. You know, this is what we got to do. I'm sorry about the bad quality. I'll shoot some video on the phone, and we'll go home and make an upload later. A short. We'll upload it. All right, everybody, I'll stay groovy now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And God bless you. And I'll see you on the trail. Grizzle 6 out.